Hey everyone, it's Humble bringing you some new spice for the Shimmering Skies meta. If you have been one of the few individuals sitting in on some public testing sessions in the Labyrinth TCG Discord, link in the description, then you may have seen me playing a deck I personally am super excited for.
I'm very excited.
Illumineers, buckle your seatbelts, hold on to your chairs, because I'm proud to showcase Blueberry Ramp. Here is my most current list, and the one I'm heavily considering to be my frontrunner moving forward into this new meta. Let's dive into our card choices. We start with our 1-drops. Churnabox Followers, Creatures of Evil, has become a staple early game character for Amethyst decks as a whole, as its stat line allows for some early trading if need be, and its on-quest ability to draw a card has the most satisfying phrase in any card game. Say it with me. Draw a card. Feels good, doesn't it? Alongside it, in our 1-drop slot, is Rafiki, Mystical Fighter. With Daisy on the rise and aggro decks looking to claim a spot in the top tiers of the meta, Rafiki becomes all that more desirable. A 0-2 with Challenger 3 lines up well into the suspected field, and while Rafiki alone is not enough to deal with Daisy on turn 2, the fact that he doesn't trade in that challenge alone may be enough to keep them at bay for a turn. Both of our 1-costed characters shine a little bit brighter when combined with the first of our 2-cost characters. Madame Mim's Snake remains a staple Amethyst card alongside the rest of the tried and true bounce package in Madame Mim Fox and the 3 Merlins you see in the list: Goat, Rabbit, and Crab. Snake, in particular, is very well statted and in prime position to help deal with these aggressive threats, as well as just being a great mid to late game facilitator on its own. Next in our 2 slot is a new card from Shimmering Skies, Tipo, Growing Sun. This card has turned out to be far better than I had initially anticipated him to be, and finds his way into the deck over a ramp piece such as 1-Jump Ahead. His ability is what this deck wants to utilize, and his stat line may seem underwhelming at first, but when combined with a Merlin Crab, this little tyke can pack a punch and survive a challenge with opposing early characters. On 3, our lineup includes Madame Mim Fox, the overstated rushing all-star that has plagued this game since set 2. I mean, she's one of our best removal tools. Merlin Crab, Mickey Mouse Detective, and Friends from the Other Side also appear on this curve. Mickey Mouse is a great ramping tool and provides a sturdy body to assist in challenging opposing threats, as well as a great bounce target to reuse to help with future ramp turns. Friends on the Other Side has that sweet, sweet phrase we discussed earlier, only this time, we get to draw 2 cards. Who doesn't love a pot of greed? Our 4-cost lineup is where things start to get good. We of course have the Merlin twins, Goat and Rabbit, to help us gain in-game lore and card advantage, but we also see another Shimmering Skies card. Magic at Dispel, Cruel Sorceress, claims 2 slots in this deck as a nod to those pesky discard players and a whole new world enjoyers. I'm looking at you, RMB. Her stat line is solid enough to be another great crab target and used for challenges, and if you find the ability not needed in the matchup, she's just ink. We only see 3 cards on 5, 2 of which are cards I would not leave home without if I were bringing any Amethyst deck to any event of this meta. First up, we have Belle, Accomplished Mystic. While we do not have any ways to shift her out early, our overarching ramp game plan is able to play her early if we need it. Her ability to act as not only a removal spell, but also a healing effect brings 2 much needed effects to this color pairing. Being a 4/4 with a quest for 2 also isn't too shabby. The second card in this slot is yet another Shimmering Skies card, Elsa, the 5th Spirit. This card has been one of the best performing cards of the new tools. The 2/5 body may seem underwhelming at first glance, but paired with her keywords of rush and evasive, her ability to challenge and remove problematic birds from the opposing side of the field is wildly powerful. Oh, did I forget that when you play her, she exerts an opposing character? Because she does do that. After testing, this card takes my pick as a sleeper, one that would likely spike in price soon, so grab your copies early before her price skyrockets. Rounding out this curve is 2 copies of Let It Go. Targeted unconditional removal is at a premium in decks not able to utilize Ruby or Steel as their removal options. And now we get to the cards we're trying to ramp into. 2 copies of Yzma, Scary Beyond All Reason, serve not only as additional removal tools in a pinch, but also a decent draw engine for ourselves when her ability isn't needed to remove an opposing threat. 2 copies of Ursula, Sea Witch Queen, is a nod to Steel Song, and how we are choosing to counter them. Cutting them off from singing songs is a huge part of stopping their momentum, and making them play fair Lorcana. 1 copy of Hades, Infernal Schemer, is an additional removal tool, as well as just being a decent in-game quester. We round out the deck with 3 copies of Elsa, Spirit of Winter, and 3 copies of Mufasa, Ruler of Pride Rock. I know, it's just not a humble deck without Mufasa. But this card is certified bonkers. Elsa sees play again is a huge tempo killer for the opponent, as well as just a great in-game finisher representing 3 lore per quest. She is also shiftable with our Elsa on 5, which is a 1-2 punch that most decks lack the tools to deal with effectively. Holding a 4-6 stat line also makes her efficient in challenges if need be. And our final Shimmering Skies card, Mufasa. And he's absolutely insane. If we ever get to ready with Mufasa on board, the quest trigger will almost always win us the game on the spot. Not only is the character very difficult to remove with a 4-9 stat line, his ability to quest for 4 closes out games quite fast. The first ability also isn't something you should disregard, as cards in our Inkwell are now able to be returned to the hand. Had to ink a goat earlier in the game that would kind of help you close the game out on the following turn? We have a chance to get him back. Did the opponent let it go your Elsa? Play Mufasa and roll the dice. While the card is at 3 in this list, I really would like to move it to 4. Some of the honorable mentions include Chicha, Dedicated Mother. Her card draw ability synergizes quite well with the gameplay we already have in place. Her support ability is also quite useful. She was in the deck originally, but her inclusion brought down the overall speed of the deck. Once the format slows down, she will likely find her way back in. Cogsworth, Grandfather Clock. The Blanket Resist ability could prove useful if steel decks are rampant in your local meta. This card's inclusion is one that is very meta-dependent. Cusco, Selfish Emperor / Hideaway. These cards were very hyped during the spoiler season as more item and location interaction that was desperately needed in Sapphire. However, these abilities fall rather flat currently. Cusco was largely underwhelming, but could see an uptick in play if Dime and location decks rule the format again. Micduck Manor, Queen's Castle, and the Library. All of these locations are great and wouldn't be wrong to include. However, with as much hype as the location hate has been, these cards already have a target on their back and are just overall in a rough spot in terms of dedicated space for something that's already being prepared for so heavily. Once Cusco's and Hideaways and Rise of the Titans diminish in number, these locations will reign supreme again. Merlin, Intellectual Visionary. This card is a card I was really excited for. Only issue is shifting this card almost never feels correct. Typically, we would rather keep the Merlin that is currently on the board, as its leave ability is quite useful. It's a really good ability, but annoyingly really well balanced. Madam Mim Purple Dragon. Admittedly, this one's a fun of, and likely offers you no real gain. I just think this card's really neat, and I want it to be playable so bad. Cogsworth, Illuminary Watchman. This card's another hyped up Shimmering Skies card that could be considered here. Giving himself or another character rush for only 1 ink is an ability that shouldn't be ignored, and just because I don't have it in my list doesn't mean he should be overlooked. Combined with the big clock for shifting could also prove a powerful combination. Our mulligan strategy in the blind is rather straightforward. We are looking to curve out, draw cards, and ramp. An ideal hand would be Churnabox Followers, Tipo, Mickey Mouse or Fox, Friends on the Other Side, Rabbit, and Elsa 5th Spirit. A healthy mix of ramp and generically good curve with the ability to interact if we need to. Against hyper aggro, we look to trade a bit of the ramp for early board interaction. We would mulligan for hands that consist of Rafiki, Tipo, Snake, Crab, Fox, Elsa, 5th Spirit, and Belle. Making sure you can survive to the later turns of the game is far more important here than turbo ramping. Take the challenge is to keep them resource light and ramp when it's feasible. Once you're able to get to Elsa, Spirit, and Winter turns, the tides quickly shift in our favor. Against Steel Song, we look to locate Magicka Dispel as a way to keep our hand in the face of an opposing whole new world. The neat interaction here is with the ability of Magicka, we don't discard our hand, but we still draw 7 cards, which could put the Steel Song player in a rough spot since our tools just get better the longer the game goes on. While we want to use Tipo to have low hand resources in the event that we don't find Magicka, we want to prioritize the cards that will keep them off their singers. Elsa, the 5th Spirit, will assist in keeping their singers banished, while Belle helps heal the damage their smaller songs deal while turning that heal into direct damage aimed to the face of any of the chosen opposing characters. If we are able to get to Ursula, we can rest a bit easy as she turns off their ability to sing songs, which their deck revolves around. Against Amber Emerald discard, we want to mulligan to Find Magicka again, to nullify their discard effects. Rafiki, Fox, and Elsa the Fifth Spirit provide much needed board control. Much like with Steel Song, we need to prioritize keeping the opponent off of singers so they cannot use Under the Sea to clear our board. Keep their board small and the game will be yours. Against Ruby Sapphire, we are looking to try and maintain card advantage while pressuring as early as we can. Mulligan for Churnabox followers, Tipo, Mickey, Rabbits, and friends on the other side. This becomes a resource game, and we need the gas. Both players in this instance are looking to ramp, and the first player to deploy threats unanswered will have the edge. Use goat balance shenanigans to help close the game after some early pressure. Against Ruby Amethyst, we look to see two things: a way to invalidate Flynn Rider, Frenemy, and a way to challenge their locations. We have a good amount of rush, so their locations won't be much of a problem typically, and our bounce package cards can do a lot in the way of making sure Flynn doesn't activate. Mulligan to find Churnabox followers, Snake, Crab, and Fox. Ramp when you see the opportunity, and remember to not overextend and to be prepared. And that, my fellow Lumineers, is Blueberry Ramp, a deck I am certainly excited to play, and I hope you are now excited too. If you would like to see this deck in action, join the Labyrinth TCG Discord, where we do public webcam testing, and maybe even see it on an upcoming episode of Lab Rats? Can I say that, Keanu? Is that... Anyway, becoming a general manager in the Discord comes with a ton of perks, one of which is a 30-minute free coaching session once a month with any one of the lab players. As always, I leave you all with my humble goodbye and good luck. Keanu, play the song.